Hey, I'm doing this video series on the spiritual combat by Dom Lorenzo Scupoli, and I have to break it up into parts. I can't do like the full chapters because it just takes too much time with the YouTube video or upload. Okay, so Chapter 1, Preliminary Words on Perfection. In what does Christian perfection consist? We must fight in order to attain it. The four things necessary for this combat. These are the things that are included in this chapter, and I'll break the chapters up into parts. So this is part 1 of chapter 1. Christian soul, if you seek to reach the loftiest perfection, Christian soul, if you seek to reach the loftiest peak of perfection and unite yourself so intimately with God that you become one in spirit with Him, you must first know the true nature and perfection of spirituality in order to succeed in the most sublime undertaking that can be expressed or imagined. Some who judge only by appearances make it consist in penances, in hair shirts, austerities of the flesh, vigils, fasting, and similar bodily mortifications. Others, particularly women, fancy themselves extremely virtuous when they indulge in long vocal prayers, hear several masses, spend many hours in church, and frequently receive communion. Others, and this does not exclude some of the religious who have consecrated themselves to God, think that perfection consists in perfect attendance in choir, in observing silence and retirement, and in a strict observance of their rule. Consequently, different people place perfection in different practices. It is certain that they all equally deceive themselves. Since exterior works are nothing more than dispositions for achieving true piety or the effects of real piety, it cannot be said that Christian perfection and true piety consist in them. And I'll stop there. That we'll call part 1, okay? Because I think that's a good place to stop right there. The last part again says, since exterior works are nothing more than dispositions for achieving true piety or the effects of real piety, it cannot be said that Christian perfection and true piety consist in them. And that's the people who are exteriorly pious, like the Pharisee in the parable of the Pharisee and the publican. The Pharisee goes up to the altar, he's giving alms, he's making his sacrifices, saying his prayers, doing whatever, and his heart is not in it, But the publican, the poor guy, sitting way back, or standing way back in the church, synagogue, he is publicly a nobody, or maybe he was a criminal, or he's an outcast or something. He's of no high esteem in the public eye like the Pharisee is, yet his prayers find more favor with God because his prayers and his piety come from a true conversion of his heart. The Holy Spirit is in there. He has allowed the Holy Spirit in there. And so that is what makes his piety real. But someone just going up to the altar, or sitting in the church, or singing in choir, or frequenting Mass and Holy Communion without having the true Spirit of Christ in them, and that is the spirit of faith, hope, and charity. and a willingness to convert entirely into to God's will. That person's outward or exterior piety means nothing. So the next part 2, is going to deal more with that, and how this outward appearance affects a person, and how the inward conversion, the true piety, also affects a person, I believe. Anyways, like I said, I'm sorry I have to break this up into parts because the YouTube won't allow for extensive uploads. Okay, so I have to break it down. So this is the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming right up.